The garden club is something that I started. It really grew out of some experiments that were happening in my physics classes in the fall of 2009. My name is Jim Reichling. I teach chemistry and physics at Lafollette High School, and I've been teaching here since 2008 after I returned from graduate school. My students were doing controlled experiments with plants in my fall 2009 classes, and then that led to a discussion with one of my students about whether it would be possible to grow tomatoes at school. And there didn't seem to be any reason why not to. So over the summer after that, we started planting a few plants, some peas and some tomatoes, just in containers and setting them outside in a courtyard over the summer and getting them ready for students to work with in the fall. The garden club has had a lot of small accomplishments. I think one of the major accomplishments that we've had is that we've really created a space that's good for gardening and good for studying plants. We've been able to put in raised beds, and we have really actually quite a number, well over 20 raised beds now. And some of them are pretty small. Some of them are only maybe 3 by 6 feet, for example, but others are pretty big. We have some that are over 20 feet long, and we've been able to really establish a lot of growing spaces. So that's really one of the major accomplishments we've had. The name of the club is really the Experimental Garden Club. We've had a large focus on scientific experimentation, and so we've practiced many different ways to germinate seeds. For example, we realized we were having a hard time keeping the containers that we were starting our seeds in from drying out. And so we've been experimenting, for example, with these just little plastic lids off of various food containers. We found that we can use these to cover our plants when we're starting the seeds, and it keeps the growing conditions inside, keeps the humidity right for the seedlings to germinate and start growing better. And along the way, we learned a lot of things. We learned that if we keep them completely sealed, we'll have a little bit of trouble with mold. So we've had to sort of modify those lids to be able to make it work. So among scientific experimentation like that, we've done experimentation in a fairly sophisticated way with soil moisture probes to try to estimate how much water plants transfer through their various structures in the course of a week. We've done some water testing and some soil testing, really quite a bit of different experimentation, even down to just finding what are the best places in our school to start seedlings, and what does lighting look like in our library overnight. This library space that I'm sitting in right now is a place where we grow a lot of our plants, start a lot of our seedlings, and the light levels here are very important to us. The nice thing about the garden club that we've had is that every group of students is really interested in something different, and we've had a chance to sort of embark on some longer term projects. So I know right now we've had a focus on putting a few trees in. A couple of years ago we planted a cherry tree. That's done really well. And so one of our small future projects is to clear some space to put in a few more trees. We're going to end up hopefully with an entire row of cherry trees down one end of one of our courtyards, and I think it's not going to be quite like the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. in the spring, but it'll still be a really nice addition to our school, and the cherries certainly in July will be really nice too. We've talked for a while about two sort of distinct long-term projects. One of those projects is to build a greenhouse that we could use at our school that we could share with our biology and ecology classes, and we have actually a really nice space to be able to do that. We have a south-facing brick wall that's really a free wall for our greenhouse space, and it's a matter of getting the right plans and getting the right water systems and the right materials together to put that space together. So that's a really nice potential long-term project, and it would be great if we could even do some sort of partnership with either Madison College or with UW-Madison to have some students that are working in engineering type programs help us to design that space. I think on a smaller scale, long-term project, we've also talked about working on a living wall. So something that looks kind of like the bookshelves that are around us here in the library space, where the shelves would be filled with plants instead of books. And we could arrange the lighting and the watering systems to try to make it as sort of automated and autonomous as possible, and a nice way for us to start seedlings, but also just to have a little bit of engineering design work that goes into either the living wall or the greenhouse or the watering systems, or whatever seems to be most appropriate. And this year we've considered the idea of teaming up with the Key Club at our school and starting a new program which we were intending to call Food 400, which is a goal for our program, a numerical goal, a quantitative goal for our program to try to prepare 400 pounds of food for donation to local food pantries. And it sounds like a big number to us, and it is a big number, but we're hoping that if we can have good success this year with our tomatoes and cucumbers and melons and other sorts of things, or berries, that might be an achievable goal for us, that a difficult but achievable goal to produce 400 pounds of food 400. We've had a great opportunity in our school district and in our school specifically to provide a garden club that students can really try things out that they aren't able to try at home, that they can investigate new foods, they can do scientific experimentation in a really hands-on way that's just not possible sometimes in the classroom, in a way for people to carry out long-term experiments that can last years. And I think in addition to all the benefit that comes with doing all the science that we do, we have our program is a program that works so much outside that we have lots of accidental ecology, if you will, happens as well. We've had so many neat sightings of birds and insects and hawks and ducks and all sorts of really exciting things that come through our garden space. And it's going to be really neat to see how it fits into the culture of the school and the long-term plans, whether it is that we're composting or growing food or working with our foods classes and the art classes and many different things that can come up as we're trying to keep a program that provides great science and education for our future students.